This video is going to walk through some of the issues with GMC, and it would apply to most Chevy models of the same year. The passive unlock that is equipped on certain level trims. Issues you might run into is singular buttons not working, one side of the truck potentially working, driver's side working, passenger side working, or vice versa, the not working. I just went through the issues on my own and figured I would go through what I've figured out because there was absolutely no good videos or any helpful information from any of the dealers I called. Some of the problems you could have, it could simply be turned off in your vehicle settings. Passive unlock could be deactivated through the key fob, and I'll explain that one. You could have loose connections, a defective antenna, or ultimately a bad K9 body control module. So I want to start off with the easiest and hopefully the first thing that could fix your issue. That would be going through your settings and going into the remote lock, unlock, and start. It's going to be located underneath the vehicle tab. From there, you'll click on remote lock, unlock, and start. Scroll on down till you see passive door unlock and passive door lock. Now, the passive door unlock is going to be where you get out or you get back to your vehicle and doors are locked, and pressing the button is going to unlock it. All that setting is going to do is go from either unlocking all the doors with the click of a button or just unlocking driver door or whatever door you're at. Now the passive door lock, that's going to lock your doors when you walk away from the vehicle with your key in your pocket, and that's at a set distance. Walk away and it's going to lock. So that's what that setting is there. Moving on to the second possible issue, if your passive unlock has been deactivated, you can simply toggle that, activate it, deactivate it by holding your lock and unlock buttons together for 3 to 4 seconds until the locks engage. Just repeat this process if you potentially deactivate it and that wasn't the actual problem. For me, my driver's side and left front and left rear doors would not work. The buttons would not do anything. They would not activate anything, but the passenger side would work completely fine. Whenever I did this step, all it did was deactivate my doors to where it didn't work at all. So I just redid the exact same process, holding them in for 3 to 4 seconds, and that fixed the problem, or that reactivated them on the passenger side. Still didn't work on the driver's side. The next problem could be a potential loose connection. So for this, the door will have to be removed. And I'm going to link a video that I used to remove the door panel, but it is extremely easy. Just take your time and using the proper tools and maybe a plastic pry. It's extremely doable, manageable, and there's no need to take it to a dealer. For starters, you're going to take a plastic pry bar and you're going to kind of shimmy it into this little slot here in between the wood grain and the buttons, and kind of work either two different plastic pry bars or using a singular one and kind of working your fingertips in there. You can pry the snaps out. It's going to have about 4 or 5 different snaps, and then on the far left hand side, generally in this area right here, there's going to be a extension of the plastic that goes into the armrest, and it kind of sticks out inside of this little area here, and that would just simply slide out. Whenever you get done popping these out, just pull it out in this direction here. Finally, then there's going to be just pull the door handle back, and you can remove this plastic cover here to unveil a 7mm bolt or screw that is behind it. There are 5 of those 7mm screws. There's one, like I said, behind the door handle. There will be 2 behind this wood grain panel, and then there'll be 2 more down here at the bottom that are extremely visible. Once you have undone those 7mm screws, you'll then take your plastic pry and begin to wedge it into the door, or if you can get your fingertips in there, you can pop it out with your hands very easily. This is the inside of the door panel. Starting from the bottom, this would be probably the first plastic connector that you'd pop out, and then working your way around the door from bottom to top. That was the best method for me to get this door off. And like I said, just keeping the pry bar as close as you can to these points whenever you pull it out, that is going to be your best method of popping them out with ease. And like I said, the back door and the front door are almost identical in this configuration. There might be one less 7mm screw on the back door, but other than that, they are almost identical. And I use the exact same procedure to pop those off. So once you get all of these undone, you're going to remove the the door handle cable, the interior door handle cable. This is just going to be a little push tab. It's going to, the yellowish white piece of plastic is going to slide back on the cable, and then you can remove the ball insert on the end there. And then after that, you can remove the harness that's going to go to all of the door controls, your windows, your locks, your power windows. And then finally, this is going to be up inside this cavity where your door switch harness, your door handle harness is going to be. And I've actually got a diagram of that I pulled from a schematic I found. But in my situation, this little plug right here, you're going to see this red, yellow, black, and brown wire. That is going to the door handle, and then below that you can see a violet and a green cable, and that's going back towards the main cab harness. This plug, for me, was completely unplugged. I'm not sure how it happened. The little locking tabs seem to be broken on it. So you can see that's why I have a zip tie holding it together. And I'll explain more. The back doors are only going to have two cables, or two wires. They're going to have a grounding wire, and they're going to have a door switch. So the button itself is going to have a wire, and that's going to be it. Now the front door, the driver door and the passenger door, they're going to have 4 wires, and I will show you that diagram right here. So this is the driver exterior. So it's got pins 1 through 5 going down. You can see that pins 1, 2, 4, and 5 are being used. Now, I potentially thought I had a bad ground because I could hear my rear passenger door trying to send a signal. I'm sorry, not rear passenger, rear driver door trying to send a signal that just was not being completed. Well, there is an antenna that is inside that door handle, and I've got a picture of that. The location of those antennas was absolutely impossible for me to find on the internet anywhere. I called dealers, and I've called actually 2 different dealers, and neither one of them could tell me where the antenna for these doors was located. But if you look, pins 2 and 4 reference driver door antenna signal, and that's going to the door handle itself, the exterior door handle. So you've got wires that are coordinating the button being pressed, the ground, and then you have the signal coming back from the body control module in the driver door antenna signal. So that's the driver door. And then you can see here, this is the right rear. The left rear is the exact same. Same exact connector pins, 1 through 5. However, 1 and 5 are the only ones being used. 2 through 4 are not occupied. And this is just simply because the rear doors share an antenna with the front doors. So if your rear door is not working, but your driver door is, well, that means you've got a wiring issue or potentially a bad door button or a button switch inside the exterior rear door handles. But if the driver door is the only one not working, then inherently you could have a bad button. If the driver door and the rear door are not working together, but you can hear the control module clicking whenever you click the rear door. The signal is getting from the rear door to the control module, but it can't get from the control module to the antenna inside the driver door. So it's kind of a loop. I could try and draw it, but say, here is your left rear door, and then here is your driver door. If you press the button on your left rear, it sends a signal to the body control module, and that body control module then sends it to the driver door antenna. If that antenna is completed, it'll send a signal back to the body control module, allowing it to complete. So if it can't get that signal, like it couldn't in my situation, there's some kind of wiring issue. Mine happened to be the switch was unplugged completely, or the harness was unplugged completely. So it's definitely something to consider. And here, right here, this is the antenna. It is inside the door handle, driver side and passenger side. Passenger side door and the rear passenger share an antenna, and the driver and the driver rear share an antenna. There are antennas in the center console and the underneath the tailgate behind the license plate. The center console antenna, from what I can tell, is going to be your push-to-start antenna, just trying to check for your key inside the cabin. And then the one behind the license plate is going to be there if you have the passive unlock on your tailgate, and you can press a button and let the tailgate down when the truck is locked. So that's 4 total antennas that are for that passive system. Whenever I was talking to the dealer, they were convinced that the center console antenna was the one for the doors, and that was not the case on my truck. That's 2019 with the newer body style. It's a SLT, but that is, if your passive unlock is not working, and I've mentioned anything that sounds remotely familiar with your situation, hopefully this video has helped. Feel free to comment below, and I'll try and answer anything you might have. I took the rear doors apart and actually swapped the door handles. That was my first step, and that's when I figured out that the rear door handles had no impact. They rely completely on the front doors. So if you're having any of these issues, hopefully this has helped and you can figure out what's going on with your passive unlock. Thank you.